are tuned into Just Iyuana, a show where we encourage women to be empowered to grow, not just in age, but mentally, physically, emotionally, and socially. Stay tuned. We have a dynamic show for you today. All right. Hello, my friends. You are tuned into Just Iyuana. I am your host, Iyuana Child. Hey, today we have a phenomenal show. We have our distinguished guest, Prophetess, my friend, my girl, my homie, a mother, a minister, a book writer, an author, an actor, just a woman who wears many hats for the kingdom of God. We are so honored to have you here today on Just Iyuana.
Thank you.
So blessed to have you here. We want to talk about her book today, Broken for Purpose. Oh my God. So here on Just Iyuana, we are a show that empowers and encourages women to grow, not just in age, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and socially. And most of the time, us as women go through a life-changing experience that leaves us broken. And a lot of times we try to run from brokenness, but brokenness, believe it or not, is the place where God can use you the most. And who better to have on the show today than a woman who has mastered a lot of areas of brokenness as a woman, Miss Nicole Williams in the house today. And we just want to just have a good time with her on the show today. I'm just trying to loosen up a little bit and just really get to how Broken for Purpose was birthed out, where it started, just the different things that you had to go through to give birth to this book, this project, this assignment, Broken for Purpose. I was at the book signing about 2.5 years ago, and it was just a very sacred event. I got my copy, read the book, it blessed me, and I saw a lot of me in the book. And so, wow, we're just so honored to have you. Broken for Purpose, y'all. Broken for Purpose. And so we need to let the women know that your brokenness is for a purpose. It's not about what people did to you. It's about what God was trying to do through you. And so, Nicole, just share with us today how Broken for Purpose came about. How did you just give birth to that? The title, just the whole, the whole story about Broken for Purpose.
Okay, well, it started out, I was actually just like gung-ho on being a child care provider, and I was like, I had a passion for children, and I just wanted to work with children. So I ended up opening up my own business at 23, 24 years old. I opened up a business. By the time I started out with only 3 children.
Wow.
By the time I was in my 2nd year of business, I was finally at a place where I felt like, okay, God, like you blessing, the money is rolling in, everything is good. And he was like, shut it down. And I was like, shut my business down. Like I'm just now getting to a place where it's successful.
Right.
And so I was hesitant. And then things started coming against me, where sometimes if we don't be obedient, God will make us do what he has for us to do. I tell a lot of people all the time, I say, when it says that many are called but few are chosen, I say called have a choice. Chosen is like do what I tell you to do, or something to happen, you know. So it's life or death for me. And God, I ended up closing down the business, and I was like, okay, God, well, what do you want me to do? And he said, write a book. And I'm like, write a book? I don't know where to start. I've never written a book. Didn't know the first steps of writing a book. And so I just started writing. I said, God said, just write. Don't worry about how it's going to get published. Don't worry about the money, the finances. Don't worry about anything. And so I just started writing. And then I was introduced to, I had a family member who I just met who had written a book, and so he started out helping me, and then I ended up meeting someone who had a publishing company, and then that was how I ended up getting the book published and going from there. And just the vision for the book, the name Broken for Purpose, sometimes when we go through things, we ask God, why me, why this, why that, and God said the very thing that you feel came to destroy you is going to be the very thing that I use to push you and create something else in you that that came to destroy you and to break you. But he said, but I'm going to show you how unstoppable you are. And so I just went from there. And
my God.
So it's been going ever since.
So what the devil meant for evil, God will use it. That's the word. God uses it for your good. And a lot of times women stay at that place of why me? For a long time in their life, and they waste so many years with that in their spirit, and they never ever pursue purpose.
That's true.
Or they never ever tap into destiny because they're seeking attention and not paying attention to what it is that God has for them to do. And it's more or less like they're playing the victim and not operating in victory that purpose gives you. And so the brokenness is really necessary. We can't run from it, but it's best to embrace it. And again, all women go through brokenness. I don't care what walk of life you've gone through, all women, because we're birthers. We were called to give birth to not just children, but purpose. And so God will break you purposely, and a lot of times we blame it on the devil. And usually, sometimes, especially when you're a believer, the enemy has no power over you. So we have to put that focus on, well, maybe this is a God thing. Maybe I don't need to say why me anymore. Maybe I need to just really seek God on not why me, but thank you for choosing me. God, you trying to get my attention. You trying to get something out of me.
Exactly.
With this situation that I face. And so share with the viewers a little bit about the brokenness.
Okay, so I think that the enemy just started attacking me from the moment I made a transition from my heavenly birthright to my earthly birthright.
Wow.
And so it started out when I was a baby. My mom would always tell me, you had seizures. The doctor couldn't understand what was going on. Thought I was gonna die. At 2 years old, I was molested at 2. Then starting at like 9 years old, I started getting molested by my mom's ex-husband, and then it eventually turned to rape from 10 to about 13 or 14.
Wow.
I ended up trying to commit suicide as a teenager. Ran away. In my mind, I was like in survival mode because I just didn't want to go through what I was going through anymore. But I didn't know how to tell anybody what I was going through because a lot of times speaking about rape and molestation in Christian families and just in families in general, I think it's a taboo subject sometimes. Nobody want to face those hard topics a lot of times, and so we'll just push things under the rug. Sometimes I found out later in life that it was a lot of generational things. I wasn't the only one who had experienced it, but I was the first to step up and say something.
Wow.
Eventually. Wow. But I went through a lot of being just a troubled teen before I got to the place where I went ahead on and told the truth about what was going on. And it was after I ran away. I ran away with the thought of saying, when I run away, I'm just going to do whatever it takes to make it, to do whatever it takes to survive. I don't care whether I have to prostitute, whatever I have to do to make it, that's just what I'm going to do. And so, I really do have a heart for the prostitutes and the strippers and the people like this because, my thing is my mentality went there. So God let me see how your mentality can go there when you get in a position where you feel like all that's left is to survive. And so, and because I hadn't found my identity in Christ, so I was accepting the identity that the Satan was trying to give me. Yeah. And so, I went forward and I just, I kept going down a bad path. I went into becoming a teenage mother, and I had 2 children before I graduated high school. People said that I was going to be a dropout. I would never graduate high school, let alone college. Which I did go forward and do. Yes. And but so it was a lot of things that happened in my childhood. From drugs to alcoholism to growing up without a father. My father left when I was 2 years old. Never having a good male figure in my life. Yes. trying to be with same-sex relationships, just everything. I literally, before I tried God, I literally tried everything else.
My God.
Literally everything else.
Wow.
And so, and God just ended up, saving my life and just turning things around for me. But so that was kind of what my brokenness, all of that, it added to my brokenness.
Yeah.
And when you are broken, your mindset is not where it needs to be, and you'll let anything come in or do a lot of things that is not who you are.
Looking for love.
Yep.
In all the wrong places. And then too, when you were saying about the molestation and the rape, and not being able or not feeling like you were able to talk about it or tell anybody, and you said that you came forward and it broke some cycles in your family, and you also have the subject when you the ministry name, break the cycle, break the silence, break the chain,
break the silence, break the cycle,
break the silence, break the cycle. So when you break your silence, coming forth and being truthful about what's being swept under the rug, then you have the opportunity to free others. And I read in your book, and then you and I have conversated about before in past time about you being the people's victory.
Yeah,
that's what you are. What you hold on to, what you're angry about, what you're bitter about, what you're mad at for years and years and years can become your deliverance and other people's victory.
Yeah, and that name was birthed because I think I was asking God, like, what's my identity?
Wow.
And one day he just said, and one day my mom was just sharing me, she said, God told me to name you Nicole Williams, because I asked her, why don't I have a middle name?
Yeah.
And she said, God said, name you Nicole Williams. So I named you Nicole Williams. And so God said, if I directed her to name you that, go look up the name. And so I was like, I said, okay. I said, so when I went to look up the name, Nicole means people's victory. And Williams means to fight for.
Come on!
And at that moment, I felt like God was giving me my identity. He was letting me know that everything that I had gone through, it was for a purpose.
Yes.
And that now everything you've gone through, you can't reach a people that you can't relate to. You can't reach a people that you feel like you're better than. You can't reach a people that you feel like you are above and they're beneath you, or because I said, God, why was I the one out of all of my mother's children who was like the trouble child and the child that did everything like that was totally against the grain. And God said that was because of all of the people that you have to reach. He said, if you hadn't went through anything, who can you reach? Because see, you can minister and you can break down my word. He said, but a lot of people sit in the pews are hurting from real life issues. Not what Paul and Moses went through, but from what they're going through currently. And if we can't reach the people where they are right now, a lot of people can't even get to break down the text in the Bible. And so a lot of times what comes from the heart will reach the heart. And once you reach people's heart and you get their mind to a place where they would even want to receive Christ. And that your life has shown itself to be victorious, to give people hope, to let people know that Christ is a redeemer. Christ can come and save you and clean your life up. And once God started to lead me in that direction, then, I started to more or less gain and know what my purpose was. And how I could be a help to so many other, not just women, but I've had a lot of men who have came to me and talked about their brokenness, being raped, being molested, just going through different things in life, being fatherless, all of those concepts. I said, because I hear so much where people say they compare God to being a father. And that used to bother me, because I used to say, well, God, that don't give me a good image of who you are. Because I grew up fatherless. And every man that I've had in my life was never a good man. So how can I compare you to a father when I've never seen a good father? And so God began to, when he began to heal me, he began to show me what a father was supposed to be to me.
That's so good, y'all. That's so good. The broken for purpose. Not only were you broken for your own purpose, but you were broken for the people's purpose. Because I'm reminded of the scripture where Jesus said, this is my body, which was broken for you. And so basically he was telling his people that, hey, I came to the world and I took all of this for your purpose, for you to pursue, to have life and have it more abundantly. Oh my God, this is such a blessing. Oh, wow. Now the warfare. Did you have to go through anything, like any turmoil, any tug of war, trying to, to write the book? Were there obstacles and all those things that got in your way to keep you? Because when we're giving birth to something, contractions come. But in the midst of those contractions, you still have to push and give birth to it. So what were your contractions, shall I say, giving birth?
I think my biggest thing during my birthing stage was, I think I would say I was having writer's block. And I was like, God, why am I having? But it was really because I didn't want to be transparent. I didn't want to be transparent about the things that I had gone through. I didn't want to be transparent about, all of the sin that I had committed. I didn't want people to know everything that I had done. But God said, but I called you to transparency. And so I would get to moments and even writing, it was almost like I was reliving everything that I had tried to block out, everything that I tried to suppress, everything that I tried to not remember anymore and just forget and move on with my life. And it made me relive it, and it made me be honest. But in there, I found moments where I just wouldn't write. And I was like, God, why can't I write? Why can't I do this? He said, because you don't want to be truthful.
Wow.
And he said, I'm calling you to transparency because this is what's going to reach the people.
Yes.
And he said, I won't give you a lie to tell. I won't give you something just to write down, just to be writing.
Yes.
And so that was my biggest struggle in the book, was being transparent to a people that I feel like was going to judge me.
Oh, God, that's so good. And everybody's not going to receive this story. And with that being said, we're going to come back on that note after a short break. Stay tuned. Just